Did you watch UFC 277? Do you think it was rude to have brought Figueiredo into the octagon while Moreno was celebrating his victory? Additionally, did you believe Sergey Pavlovich's win over Derek Lewis was due to an early stoppage? Lastly, are you excited about the possibility of a fourth Moreno versus Figueiredo? We certainly are, and we've got everything you need to know about the UFC boss's disrespectful move. Firstly, why did Dana White apologize for the controversial move at UFC 277? In case you didn't hear, Dana White made a decision to bring Figueiredo into the octagon during UFC 277, just after Brandon Moreno won his fight against Kai Kara France. This was a controversial move because of the fact Figueiredo and Moreno have fought each other 3 times and are likely to fight a 4th. So, Dana thought it would be a good idea to bring in Brandon Moreno's arch nemesis after he had just won his fight initially. Still, after he brought in Figueiredo, he realized it was probably not the best idea to have done that. Later, in the post-fight conference, he was quoted saying, "Well, that was rude," but he also said it wasn't that bad, so it looks like it worked out well enough. It's incredibly refreshing to see someone like Dana White be aware of what he was doing, and that it may be stealing the glory of Moreno's win, and even more refreshing for him to apologize for it. Up next, what else was covered in the post-fight conference? Well, one fascinating thing that happened in the post-fight conference was that Dana White took a shot at Jake Paul for his recent last-minute fight cancellation. Paul was supposed to fight Hasim Rahman Jr., headlining Madison Square Garden. However, the pair made it out to seem like the cancellation was due to a weight-cutting issue, and that Hasim Rahman only lost 1 pound in a month, when his weight needed to be cut a further 10 pounds. The problem with this is that the fight was canceled a week in advance. This is exceptionally uncommon for boxing matches to be canceled that much in advance, and under such mysterious circumstances. Hasim later said this to Boxing Scene, "But where in boxing do you see them canceling fights a whole week in advance? I didn't even get my last week to get down as low as I could. I told this man, if penalties are involved, keep the purse. Keep the purse. I'd fight you for the $5,000 minimum." This is interesting because Hasim still had a week to make weight, so it's unlikely that this is the real reason the fight was canceled. However, Dana White speculated that a big reason for the cancellation was due to the fact that Paul's fight sold less than $1 million, and the cost to turn the lights on at MSG is $500K. Additionally, there are also many other factors involved, such as travel, hotels, and more behind-the-scenes cost. So, perhaps there are ulterior motives for the cancellation of this fight, and maybe it was due to a financial issue. Keep watching to find out if Figueiredo will have recovered from his injury in time for this fight. So, will Deiveson Figueiredo versus Brandon Moreno happen a 4th time? The possibility of a 4th round of Moreno versus Figueiredo is something that many fans have hoped to see since both men started their professional careers. Still, it was put on hold once again due to Figueiredo being unable to meet the organization's requirements for championship fights, as well as his hand injury. However, Figueiredo has made a dramatic turnaround and now needs a few more months for his hand to heal. Figueiredo and Moreno have fought 3 times before, with a draw and 1 win apiece, and both fights ended in UFC title fights. The first fight was in 2015, and the second, most recent, being in January 2022. As it stands, the UFC fully supports both men, and Dana White suggested the fight may take place. Dana was quoted saying, "Yeah, it's probably going to happen," when asked if the 4th fight would happen. There has been some recent chatter about where the potential fight is. Being the 4th time around, Figueiredo wants the bout to be held in Brazil. This seems unlikely, considering that the UFC is most commonly held in the United States, but anything could happen. Stay tuned to find out more about the fight. Up next, will Figueiredo be recovered soon enough to fight? There was a lot of debate regarding when Figueiredo would be able to face another opponent after he successfully took the belt from Moreno. Many fans have been hoping that he would have fought sooner in the year, but due to claims of injuries to his hand, the flyweight champ claims to be unable to fight until October or November. Figueiredo said this about his injury: "I'm injured. It's an injury that didn't let me train properly. I can barely make a fist. I'm going through physical therapy to deal with that. It's a tear in the cartilage. My finger is crooked. My other hand is also injured. I can't punch pads properly. These are fighting injuries, and they want me to fight again so soon? I'm not a machine. I'm 34, and I need to take care of my body. We can book a fight for October or November. I want to be 100% for a fight. So, let's hope that Figueiredo's hand recovers so he can get back inside the octagon." Don't go anywhere. We've got everything you need to know about the new interim belt. So, did Figueiredo think there would be an interim belt due to the injury Figueiredo sustained to his hand? He's been unable to fight for over 7 months now, and there were original rumors about the prospect of an interim belt. When he had been asked about his thoughts on the possibility of an interim belt, Figueiredo responded by saying, "It would be pretty messed up on the UFC's part to create an interim belt. I can't fight for the real belt, and then they go and create another one? That way, I'll know they don't don't want me as the champion. I'll have to rip off the head of whoever has the interim belt. It took them over 4 months to create an interim title for Ngannou. I've just completed 2 months with my belt. There's no way they'll make an interim belt. I'm not opposed to fighting, but I have to be 100%, and the money has to be good. I need to value myself. I do what they like, give them a show, and charge that value as an athlete who sells fights. So, it seemed like Figueiredo was confident that there won't be any interim breaks while he was recovering. Sadly for him though, the UFC has added an interim flyweight title, but it seems like the fighter is taking the news well. He responded to the information by explaining that there was, in fact, more to the story than the public knew, and that there was an issue with the documents pertaining to his injury. So, what changed? When asked about the new interim title, Figueiredo said that there are several details that I'm not going to be able to talk about, but the thing is that the documents that were supposed to prove how bad my injury was were not sent properly to the UFC, so they didn't know. They didn't have a proof, so it is what it is. Let them fight. I'm going to use this time to take care of my body, be 100%, and defend my belt as soon as I can fight again. So maybe Figueiredo's injury isn't as bad as he's leading people to believe, or maybe there really was just an issue with the paperwork. Lastly, is there any update on when a potential clash between Moreno and Figueiredo could happen? The UFC is hoping to put this fight together as soon as possible, but they aren't rushing things and want to make sure that they are making the right decision. That means first weighing both men's current situations and seeing if they are able to compete at their best before making a decision on whether or not to go forward. There have been no clear indications about when the UFC will make its next move. Still, they are likely waiting to see if Figueiredo has recovered enough to fight before scheduling a fourth fight for the pair. This will be incredible because it means they could potentially make UFC history as the only two people to have fought each other 4 times in the UFC. This has been a wild ride for all parties involved, but all the drama has come to a satisfactory conclusion now. Will the UFC be able to book a fight between Brandon Moreno and Deiveson Figueiredo? Which of the two fighters will be able to make the most of their second chance at a UFC title? There is no doubt that this will be a memorable moment. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content just like this.